Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. So I thought I should finally share the things I found in Bridging the Rift and that I never saw anyone bring up yet. I've analyzed it right when it came out, but I've been sitting on this for more than a year since it could include Season 2 spoilers, and I know Arcane teams are working really hard not to let any spoiler out, but since we know Season 2 is approaching now, I figured it was okay for me to share this to give the fanbase some crumbs and things to talk about. Also, let me apologize in advance to anyone at 4T who will feel like I'm invading their privacy, but blame this on my over-attention to detail and OCD. I swear I tried my best not to let anything out before Season 2 was officially announced. My passion for your show is just too strong to be controlled. Bridging the Rift was such an interesting documentary, and as much as it showed the behind the scenes of the production of Season 1, Season 2 was also already in production when the documentary was filmed, and even if some parts were blurred to avoid spoilers, some were not. Knowing how Riot likes to hide Easter eggs and symbolism in their artworks or cinematics for their fanbase to discover, I think they might have done that on purpose. Please note that these are my personal observations only. I'm only bringing it to you to let you know about it, and of course some might just be Season 1 frames that didn't make it to the final cut, but that will be up to you to decide. I'm only sharing with you the interesting things that I found. Some stuff are definitively from Season 2 though, which isn't surprising since 4T was already working on Season 2 in parallel by the time Season 1 was approaching the end of its production.
The trip to 4T is to lock down the final episodes of Season 2. The end that I won't talk about very much is one that is complex.
So let's dive right into it and theorize together about those frames. First of all, to anyone who still have doubts about Bridging the Rift being filmed while they were working on Season 2, know that the documentary was filmed at multiple times during the production, even if they made it look like it was somewhere around the end of Season 1 production. You can tell the different times by the camera quality or the creators' haircuts that change throughout the frames, or the dates on the computers that also indicate different months, that some scenes were filmed way earlier than that. Season 2 was already in production while they were working their way through the final episodes of Season 1, and that's why some backgrounds or computer screens are blurred, but unfortunately, or maybe, if they'd done that on purpose to give us some crumbs, all the frames weren't blurred, and some Season 2 stuff managed to course its way to my eyes and caught my attention. Number 1. So let's start with this new fellow. We have a rabbit cat lynx furry girl with lots of cool accessories and layers of clothes. Could be a background character, but it's got an outside and an inside outfit, and the importance given to detail is way too important to be just a background character. Perhaps a new character. She seems rich and important, so she'll probably be from Noxus or perhaps a new member of the council. Number 2. Say hello to Season 2 Jinx firing Fishbones. Number 3. Here, we have an interesting talk between these two people. The guy on the left is giving instructions to the Mr. Animator seated on the chair, and he's talking about Rennie. This is Rennie to anyone who forgot about her. She's a Chembaron, and since we know Chembarons will have an important part to play in Season 2, that talk caught my attention, because the instructions he's giving him doesn't match any scene from Season 1. The scene is cut in two, and shows up at two different parts of the documentary. At first he's just talking about Rennie and a man's proportion or distance, so it could have been any scene from Season 1 in which she appears, but when you listen to the second scene, which is clearly the same day and same moment, so probably the same instructions for a scene the animator was having issues with, we can see that he's talking about a man being hit by something, and then slowly falling down. What he's describing doesn't match any scene with Rennie, because even in the scene where Sevika kills Finn, that's not how he dies. The only character I can think of is Ekko, so perhaps, this is talking about a new scene in which Rennie will have an important part to play. From what we know, Rennie could be in charge of the Chembarons after Silco, seeing how she was against his ways and seemed to have her own way of seeing things, and also held a strong grudge against Jinx. Not to mention her son got killed by Jace, so she might hold a grudge against Piltover for that too.
Where is Jinx anyhow?
Number 4. This Ekko frame is from Season 2. He's looking down and the background behind him doesn't match the ones we saw him in, wearing those clothes, in Season 1. At first I thought it could still be this scene, but the camera angle doesn't match either. So I still thought it could have been an animation test shot for this scene, and that dark part in the back could have been a part that wasn't rendered or painted yet. But when you look at how Fortiche works, the procedure follows these steps. If this was a test shot for Season 1, the background would have been all set already, and Ekko wouldn't have been so perfectly rendered. So this is the actual background, and that is one of a new scene. Not to mention this scene from Bridging the Rift was talking about something else entirely. The man there just forgot to hide his screen. So, what do you think of this one? I see Ekko being sad while talking about Jinx with Vi. Number 5. That frame behind our favorite musical misfits. It's a corridor with lots of Jinx's graph signature. Why would they make a complete new frame just for this slight, few seconds intro on the musical misfits? Even the flares and overlay glitches from the Bridging the Rift intro or the enemy MV are free to use overlays you can find on the internet. And yes, sorry guys, I used the same, so I couldn't help but catch that. So why would they go as far as to make a whole new art for this part? It could be, of course, but that frame caught my attention for how perfectly rendered it was. It reminded me of the scene from the Get Jinx music video, in which Jinx is toddling through the police station corridors and all the lights turn off as she seemingly made the whole station go black for the element of surprise. I see her doing just the same in Season 2. Paint her graphs all over the place while everything is dark, then disappear, and when the lights would turn back on, Vi, Caitlyn and enforcers will have the horror to discover she was just there under their nose. Number 6. Mr. Arnaud checking the render of a frame/letter that isn't in Season 1. Number 7. There is a war going on inside Jinx's chest in the Bridging the Rift intro, and it could pretty much be the scene from Episode 1 on the bridge. But when you look at it closely, that's not the bridge only, the colors are just making it look like it. There's a float, and war flags, and those look like coming from warships. Noxus is implied coming to the party. Number 8. This painting frame never appears in Season 1. Looks pretty similar to the kind of overall ambience we saw around Singed in the teaser for Season 2. Same goes for that handsome Fortiche fellow working on the left, he's working on a frame that isn't in Season 1. Number 9. Anyone who looked closely at this behind the scenes would have catched this one, but I thought some of you might not have. So here we have an early painting of what Episode 3 could have looked like. This was filmed way earlier in production. We can tell by Christian's haircut and overall camera quality that isn't as high as the rest of Bridging the Rift. Powder was made to be the one crying over Vander when he died, not Vi. Number 10. This man right there is working on a side character or background character that seems to be having some fight moves. Also fights with its fists. Perhaps someone Vi will fight during her time training at the academy? Number 11. I don't know if these are new or an early test at Jinx puppet dolls, but those are absolutely gorgeous. Here we have Jinx, here Powder, little Ekko here, and the red color and angry red mouth here must be Vi. In my opinion, these might be entirely new, even if we can see the inspiration board on the side is indeed using Jinx's workshop for inspiration. Like we saw, Season 1 was way advanced in production when Bridging the Rift was filmed, so it wouldn't make sense to me that these paper dolls would be drawn by this artist by the time they were finalizing Season 1. Also, Jinx didn't make any dolls of herself, Powder, Ekko or Vi. This could be, in my opinion of course, made by someone else entirely. Perhaps Ziggs has been spying on Jinx? Boring. Also, the project file's title isn't Jinx Puppet Dolls or anything, it is Isha Puppets Design. But even after looking up if there was any champion called Isha in the game, I didn't find anything. So perhaps it is just the artist's name or a personal reference at Fortiche, or a completely new character. If the name Isha rings a bell to you, please let us know in the comments. Number 12, a sketch or storyboard of someone doing push-ups. Could be Vi, but it looks like Caitlyn to me. Number 13, is this Jace's office or armory? Number 14. This looks like Vi in Piltover. She has a cane and is clearly wearing clothes that aren't her own, so I see this scene happening after a traumatic event that would have affected her so much she would have lost her memory. The event would have been so violent that it would have forced Caitlyn to take her to an hospital. Throughout her recovery, Vi would stay in Piltover, and since she lost her memory, it wouldn't be surprising to see her wear Piltover clothes, since she might have forgotten where she's from. On the downside of the scene, we can see another unknown Piltover background on the man's desktop. Some pinkish purple layers of clothes on the bottom left, makes me think of Jinx. Number 15. So I posted this one on Twitter a year ago, but I'll share it again here for those who haven't seen it. Here we have Ekko using his time ability. We have two Ekkos on the front of the frame, and the person in front of him is being hit by a blast, from which emanates blood. That action is being multiplied up onto the end of the frame. That is the action Ekko is trying to stop by rewinding time. He is trying to arrive on time for this person not to be hit by the blast. My interpretation is that Jinx is firing with Fishbones, and Vi seems to be the one being hit by the rocket, because the sketch looks like the rocket is having a devious face like the one we saw on the Mega Death rocket at the end of episode 9, and also the person's hair are red, so I figured it was an indication for Vi. But either way, and no matter my interpretation of the rest of the frame, Ekko can be easily identified, and he's using his time ability, so he'll definitively have the Z drive in Season 2. Number 16. Who is this? Vi before being painted? Before her hair was colored? Or is it a new character? Perhaps a background character. Number 17. This could of course be inside gifts and design that never got into merches, but there's already an official design for Fortiche, and also, a lot of Fortiche staff share the presents they get from Riot or their boss like Arcane jackets or merches on social medias, but they're never shared this one. This design is new to me. Could it be for the teams working on Arcane Season 2? Will it be the official design for the Season 2 promo? Perhaps it is just an inside merch design for teams working on Arcane, but I thought it could be interesting to point it out. Number 19. Just someone working on making Ekko run when he didn't run once in Season 1. Number 20. The Ekko Jinx fight had Jinx seeing Ekko as a monster when he was hitting her. So I guess I wasn't wrong with my theory, and gosh, my heart is broken. Number 21. Just this little drawing with Jinx and the caption, "Sexy drooling." Number 22. These are really hard to catch, and a lot of people will probably call me delusional, but go check it up yourself. Here in the background of the man's computer, we have a scene that isn't in Season 1, and that is multiplied in multiple frames. It is either Caitlyn or Jinx, we can't really tell, but the hair is blue and the face could both look like Caitlyn or Jinx looking sad or down. Number 23. On the man's computer we can see the mural from the Firelight's hideout, but it doesn't look like the one we saw in Season 1. Perhaps it is just a background for his computer and he used the original painting instead of the scene for it, but there's new characters' faces on it. Perhaps this will be a new scene taking place in the Firelight's hideout. Let's finish with these frames that aren't in Season 1, and that of course could just be background paintings or test shots for the first season. This one though is definitely from Season 2, and they were already working on the puppet rigs for the characters. Caitlyn's father is in his bathrobe looking depressed, and it looks like they're discussing the funeral for Caitlyn's mother. Someone on Twitter months ago also pointed out this Victor's shadow. There's still a lot of other slight details that I didn't bring up here, but you can rewatch the documentary and try to see all those little crumbs you have missed. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it will make you even more excited about Season 2. I absolutely can't wait to see the characters again. See you soon guys, please leave a little thumbs up or feedback if you enjoy my content. New analysis videos are coming soon. Don't forget to subscribe.